here to try and kind of allow the Yangjian and the Yao to really take the bulk of that damage, or at least try and bait out a lot of those skills. And then you've got them scepters just flying in your face. Could be quite tricky for the side of Nongshim Red Force to try and counter that long-range poke.
Well, these two teams have created two very different compositions, and they're gonna try to come up with different strategies as well. This is gonna be the first game of our second semi-final. The winner of this semi-final is going to be facing Nova Esports in our grand final tomorrow. Ooh. Look at that, Miggy already being proccing the flash. Welcome to the semi-final.
Yeah, welcome to the semi-finals. I mean, the Yao into the clash lane's a little bit of a weird one here for me. Obviously, yes, it's obviously going to try and play around the Mighty Conqueror Fatih here, but it's normally, well, we saw it yesterday, it was Yao, but it was going to be Carl on the Yao there, so a bit of a change up there, maybe not like you were saying into the introduction there, Isaac, the identity onto the side of Boom Esports, especially to the sort of like mid to top side of the map, is a little bit kind of murky right now.
It is going to be really difficult, right? Because in a game where you do not have the space to make mistakes, where there's no actual mistakes that you can take if you actually want to make it to the finals, not having a clear identity and roles into what you want to do might be too big of a gamble. Let's wait and see what's going to happen and what this game is going to bring us. We can see already Nongshim Red Force just making the rotations over here, and it's going to be Miggy the one that's going to be in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good strat for the side of Nongshim Red Force, just kind of trying to give the advantage over to Ratel into the top side of the map, because if they get that T1 very early onto the side of Nongshim, and Ratel has been playing very phenomenally for one of the clash lanes, I'd probably say he's definitely one of my top 3 clash lanes of KSI4. So freeing him up means that you have that unleashed beast into these team fights and into the back line of Boom Esports, more importantly.
The Fatih is such an incredibly strong hero, right? Like, we know after he procs his ultimate, he's gonna have so much sustain, and at the same time it just can deal so much damage. So that's gonna be very, very difficult for Boom Esports to actually face onto. Look at the Haya already having eyes on where Carl is right now.
Ooh, okay,
Easy.
managed to get the last hit there.
Easy.
So definitely Nongshim nicely contesting these smaller camps, making sure that resources is not going to go over to the favor of Boom Esports.
Lovely performance right now in here. The Nongshim Red Force and Boom Esports in this almost 3 minutes of the game. Very slow, very, very slow, very meticulous. They do not want to be making any mistakes. A lot of respect towards their opponents on both sides.
That's the word I would have used, definitely. Respect's being paid here to Nongshim Red Force, not only because they have the title of the PH Gatekeepers from Season 3 Invitational, but the fact is that they know that Nongshim from group stage, the bottom of Group A, arguably the tougher group, but the bottom of Group A really shined here into the knockout stage, so they know they cannot disrespect Nongshim, or they will literally falter in this semifinals.
What I wonder right now is such a slow pace of the game is actually more beneficial for Boom, because then it means that Nongshim Red Force, they lose a lot of the momentum that they could have with the Ogren and the early invasion that it could provide. They lose a lot of that priority that the Lapu Lapu could provide as well. So this whole 4 minutes, even though they have been pretty equal for both of them, but I feel like they're a lot more beneficial to Nongshim Red Force.
Yeah, it's been very coy. Obviously, we did see top side of the map very early that Miggy almost got caught out there, and we do see that obviously Haku has been able to kind of achieve that level advantage there. The bait rewind being used pretty early there from Tatsuri. I don't know if that's a misclick or a little bit of a bad move there, as we've seen this Tyrant starting to get handled on here by the side of Boom Esports. Obviously, Haku using the path of passing over the wall here just to put the pressure on, get the reset. That's something that Boom didn't really want.
Right now, Nongshim Red Force is going to try to come in for the steal. Look at that. Carl's going to claim the Tyrant.
He claims the Tyrant. First blood does go over to the side of Boom Esports as well. So not only do you hand yourself the Tyrant, you get the takedown onto Illusion, which is the hero we were seeing within the draft is, hey, Carl really needs to look out for this hire and for this Ebonite aspiration.
Lovely performance in there. Carl comes in, takes the Tyrant, and after that, the Hound locks in into Illusion. and his Haya, it falls after. Right now, they not only took the first blood, they also took the Tyrant, turning things around. Boom Esports in a game that was looking very slow right now might start just to move a little bit faster.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, still only around about 200 gold difference, right? So I think it's not something we can really write home to mum and dad about. That Boom Esports are a little bit ahead, but that Tyrant is definitely going to tip the scales on that very even Stevens gold lead now. They get the extra damage, the movement speed. So rotating around this map is going to be a little bit faster and easier for Boom Esports. But you can see that Namu's just trying to cut off the access back into the mid lane here.
Right now, the whole focus comes in here to the farm lane. The Luara, Sirius Luara is not having a very good and easy contest against Danny, right? Danny's deer in deer right now with the upper hand in there in that matchup that up until right now has been always a 1v1.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, to be honest, Raw's always been down there as well. 2v2 top side of the map here. Miggy tries to force out the ultimate there of Ratel and gets it, but now we get the knockup from Namu coming in with the path of passing. Carl maybe getting executed. There it is. Haku gets his revenge, but trade a health for a turret is always a good trade if you are Boom Esports.
That is really good right now for Nonshin Red Force. Boom Esports takes control of the map, but Nonshin Red Force in that engage. The Moonscape Mirage one more time in here, Blam.
Yep, into the mid lane here. They're all waiting, anticipating the return of Haya, but it's going to be Danny that gets focused and executed once again, and boom, goes down draw. And they're looking for some more here. Tatsuri is definitely looking a little bit worse for wear and does not have the Fate Rewind.
A 2-0 trading here for Nonshin Red Force. They start commanding with a little bit more ease. They came into that fight and they were able to take on the marksman and the roamer from Boom Esports. Right now, Boom, at the beginning, they started looking like they had control. Right now, Nonshin Red Force slowly trying to turn things around, Blam.
That's the thing about Honor of Kings, though, right? Like, it gives you the illusion that you are ahead, and then all of a sudden, it just takes one solid team interaction, and you're back on top. Exactly as you can see here with Nonshin Red Force ahead by 1k. It's the first 1k gold difference we've had since the match started 7 minutes ago.
Now, look at that. That's a lot more of what I thought that we were going to be looking like. Haku and that Ogran jumping in and trying to harass a little bit of the jungle. He needs to have control over that, right? And because as time passes, you've already mentioned it, right? Like the Ogre has already fallen into priority picks because of the constant nerfs that the hero has had. So as the times keep passing, there's not going to be that much damage and sustain coming in from him.
No, yeah, you definitely have to kind of like outscale your opponent to try and have any leeway there. And you said it obviously beautifully in the draft there that you need to kind of be invading very much early on. And we saw many a times where the path of passing came through, but the results just weren't quite there. Was able to see us stay away that 4 camp away from the side of Boom Esports, however, so still maintaining that goal lead to around about 1.5k. Top side of the map here, Namu does actually try to drive away Migi from stopping this takedown of these minions into the T1. And it looks like Nongshim are going to secure that first turret of the game.
On the macro game, we can see that the Tatsuri's pick, the Heino, is going to allow Boom Esports to have a little bit more re-aggro in terms of turret damage, right? Because of the way that the Tatsuri's Heino is being designed, then it can actually just, we could say, just rewind time to a moment where the turret was not that low in health. You could say it in that way?
Yes. Yeah, correct. Yeah, I mean, we saw it beautifully in like the likes of KWC, right, where we saw players like Hailang just really slow down any kind of domination of the map because of that Fate Rewind. He was only there for that sole purpose, but Bloom, they are playing it a little bit differently here. I feel like the main motive is just the poke potential from it. They're not quite playing it at that same level, but it's still working.
It is still working. Nonshin Red Force has not been able to create a very big advantage. It's 2,000 gold right now after several good fights and several good moments, right? 30 seconds away from the Shadow Overlord and the Dark Tyrant. There's going to be a key moment in the game. When games are this balanced, it is the main objectives that they are actually going to be the cue for someone to take a very big gap.
Yeah, they're always going to try and look for the key to the hole, right? They're looking for that golden ticket to find the unbalance of the enemy team here. But once again, we're using that Fate Rewind just to keep Tatsuri safe. So it's a very selfish kind of Fate Rewind, you know? Like, it's not being used for objectives or anything like that. It's just to save his own goal.
Well, that's going to be very dangerous for them right now, because right now, Nonshin Red Force is going to have priority over this Dark Tyrant. The Fate Rewind is going to be on cooldown, and Boom Esports have very few options how to contest this.
Yeah, I mean, they're looking for a way in, right? Obviously using the Radiance there, trying to get the slowdown onto Namu, but he has his own Radiance. So if they decide to actually try and commit, it's going to be a hard way to get in, but obviously Moonscape Mirage is being used here onto the likes of the Hino, is able to keep him away from these team fights, so Poe Potential does get lost here onto the side of Boom Esports, and that's going to be a double takedown. Make that a 3. If you're an Espresso, you may as well be on Caffeine Drip, because that is 4-0 trade here for Nongxin Red Force.
Nonshin Red Force completely, as we just mentioned, taking control of this. We knew that the 10-minute mark was going to be the cue for something big to happen. And Nonshin Red Force at the 4-0 trade, they're not gonna go only for the Tyrant, they're gonna go for double Dragon Control.
As if the salt in the wound wasn't enough, right? They're literally just completely cutting a limb off here from the side of Boom Esports, getting both of those shadow objectives. But look at that instant replay here as well. Obviously, the Haya really turning the tides there for the 1v1, making that a 4v4. When you're entering the pit, you need to be prepared. And unfortunately, for the side of Boom Esports, they were a man down before they even started here. And taking the Hino away just means that chunk, that crowd control damage that you can get from Hino Scepter Spears just wasn't there.
Oh no, of course, and that's the issue, right? Because Carl is just so focused on trying to check on the Tyrant's health bar that he needs to do too many things at the same time. He needs to try to deal damage, he needs to try to keep an eye on the Tyrant, and at the same time he needs to be sustaining as well. It was too much for him.
Yeah, instead of the Eye of the Tiger, it's Eye of the Tyrant here into this game of 1 between Nongxin Red Force and Boom Esports, and definitely taking away the attention from a player like Carl is definitely one of the ways to kind of like turn the tides for the battle for yourself. Is you've got one player already completely distracted, not knowing where to place down those hounds, not knowing where to fly in, just kind of like panicking, saying like, guys, we've lost Tatsuri, we need to get him back into the fight if we want to turn this into our favor. But now Nongxin, after that double objective, get team 2 into the bot side and top side of the map.
Look at that, Moonscape Mirage one more time, gonna take it into the other dimension for the 1v1, and there's nothing they can do as they come out. Oof! Moves away, the mobility coming in from Miggy allows him to survive.
Blue team.
Yep, there we go. So Miggy is actually going to be saving grace here for the side of Boom Esports this time around. But what's not going to be safe is that T3 top side of the map, and that Fate Rewind is not going to come through and actually save it. It's going to be the godlike kill going through here for Aku, and Siri coming in, getting a shutdown onto Migi. They're looking to favor a little bit more here. Tatsuri playing very precariously here, just going to go try and get that dive in, get enough scepters to try and make sure he's able to do enough damage to push away Nongxin Red Force.
Well, this is looking really bad for Boom Esports, right? Like 13 minutes and 30 seconds mark. We have already about the 7,000 gold advantage for Nongxin Red Force. Lucky for them, the dragons are not available at the moment. So the only thing that Nongxin Red Force can do is just to clean waves and try to put some pressure onto the high ground. Nothing that they could actually do in this moment due to their composition to finish the game. But look at that, 50 seconds away from the neutral objectives to spawn one more time.
Yeah, that could be the final nail in the coffin here for game 1 for Boom Esports. But it's going to be the knock-up there. This is catch on to 2 of Boom Esports, but there's no real follow-up here. We are having a little bit of a fight on 2 fronts, but it's just Migi trying to kind of bait out enough skills, maybe try and get clear of these minion waves to save the T3 from falling down. But the party is going to have to blitz this down, but it's going to be Boom that uses the Fate Rewind for the first time selflessly.
Yeah, it was a very good Fate Rewind in terms of time, but look at this. One more wave of minions coming in. That ability is not going to be available, and the mid lane turret is going to fall. Now this is going to be the bottom lane turret that is going to be under siege one more time.
I mean, with the refresh of the Celestial Melody there, they were able to actually maintain that T3 into the mid lane, but it still doesn't mean that it doesn't stop the spawning of the super minions, so you still have that enhanced minion wave into the mid lane, so you're just kind of delaying the inevitable.
And that is it, right? Because right now with the Tyrant just being in the hands of Nongshim Red Force, they're gonna have 80 more seconds of this damage boost that they're gonna have. Now this is the moment for them to just go in there and fight. Look at the gold difference in their Blam. They do not have any advantage compared to them. Like only Tatsuri has more gold than any of their counterparts.
And that's a scary thing as well, right? Like, Haya is the only one, so Illusion is the only player who does not have a gold lead, but yet has such a massive impact onto these team fights. Like, imagine if he had a gold lead. Like, this would just be, it'd be Jova like 2 minutes ago.
50 minutes and 30 seconds, the only thing that Boom Esports can do is to pray that these turrets are going to not fall that quickly, because if the dragons and the vanguards, everything's gonna come in, their high ground is gonna be the next target.
Yeah, but once again, just saving the higher ground turret for the last time is going to be the potential of Tatsuri, and a little bit of a saving grace, maybe his calling part before his time is up, but it's going to be Vegeta to the backline doing a lot of damage, just keeping away Nongshim Red Force for now, but on the pending doom is going to be those Shadow Vanguards. But I have to give props over to Boom here. They are surmounting some kind of defense. I'm not too sure why Nongshim's struggling to finish this one. I feel like it's the access into the backline that just isn't quite there.
I think that is in terms of the composition in such a close quarters fight, it's very difficult for Nongshim Red Force just to take the advantage, right? Like the composition for Boom Esports allows them to be able to defend that crystal in a better way. Nongshim Red Force right now, due to their compositions, it's very difficult for them to just do that last punch.
I mean, it's probably the easiest push is the last push, because obviously you've already made your way there. It's just going to take just a little bit more maybe just take pop it I don't know, a Baraka at this point to get some vitamin C, some energy in you, and then hopefully Nongshim Red Force can try and take this final push. But I feel like with the Sun Chaser here for Siri as well, just having that enhanced basic attack range is definitely going to make it a little bit easier into this next team fight with these minion waves crashing through.
All right, Blam, look at this. The minions are already here. Let's see if Nongshim Red Force can seal the deal.
Legendary.
Yeah, look at the seal the deal. They are having trouble with the minions. They're waiting for some more minions to back up here. The props to Boom, able to wipe every minion at the crystal. But props to Nongshim Red Force, picking up nearly almost every member of Boom Esports as they wait for the boys in blue to come through to the crystal and take game number 1.
It is going to be victory for Nongshim Red Force. They're gonna take this game that started very slow, but then after that, after the 10-minute mark, Nongshim Red Force completely